Hello guys and welcome here. My name is Yassine. In today's video we are going to talk about the basics of Microsoft Excel. So this video is really a tutorial to show you the basics of this amazing application. Once again, we're not going to go too much in depth into this topic. The goal is really to present the app in a 15 to 20 minutes video. So this way you will be able to work with Microsoft Excel directly after this video. So you'll see it's not going to be that complicated. Once again, this is an amazing application. I work with it on a daily basis, and I have a lot of courses, well, a few hour courses about this app. Let's not wait any longer and let's just start. So pretty simple. When you open up your Microsoft Excel app, you will be on a page like this one right here. The first important thing to know will be in the tab file. So once you click on it, you will be able to open up a new Microsoft Excel document. So by clicking on the blank workbook, you will be able to have access to a new Microsoft Excel document. So if we try it out, what's going to happen is that I have a new workbook that has opened. So if I just take it off, as you can see, we have the other workbook that is right here. Once again, if I go back on files and I want to open up one of the past workbooks that I work with, I'll be able to find them right here inside of the recent tab. So those are all the other workbooks that I worked on. Now, if I want to save my document, I will simply click on this button right here. I'll be able to save it on my computer directly. If I want to print my workbook, I can just click on the print button. Here I'll be able to print the workbook that I have just created. Once again, there is nothing to print since we haven't created anything on that workbook. Now let's go back inside of our workbook and start checking out what we can do with Microsoft Excel. So the first thing that we are going to talk about in this tutorial will be the tab home that is right here. The first thing that you can do with the cells, it's pretty simple. You can modify them. So if we go right here, and if you see me, I can make those cells, well, if I write something in it or just add some color. As you can see, I can make the cell wider. I can make the cell a little bit larger as well. So this is really the first thing that you can do with cells. You can modify them. So if I create a small little table right here with all borders, as you can see, it will look like this table right here. And let's say I want to have the cells have the same format. It's pretty simple how I can proceed. So you can just go right here, select all your cells, click on right click on it, select row height, and here you can modify it. And let's say we'll write 20. And we are going to have a 20 row height. Then we'll do the same thing right here for columns. So we'll select the column white, and let's say we'll write down 20 as well. And here we have a 20 by 20 table that has just appeared. So this is pretty much how you can control the cells. Now, if we want to add text inside of our cells, it's pretty simple. You just click on one cell. Well, you can double click on it. And here you will be able to write some text. So let's say I write, hello, my name is Yas. So here you go. This is, well, yes, for Yassine, of course. But this is a simple thing that you can do with Microsoft Excel. You can write text inside of your cells. Let's say you want to modify the text, you will simply go in the font right here, and you can select pretty much all the types of fonts that you want. So this is one type of font that I can use. We'll just Control Z. Now, let's say I want to, for example, make my text in italic. I just click here. If I want to make it in bold, I can just click there. And if I want to add a line to my text, I can just click here. All right. Now, I'll just take off all those things since we will no longer need them. The next thing, the type of table that I want to have. So here, what you can do is that you can add borders to your columns. It's not really a table. We're not gonna get too much in the tables, too much in details in tables, but I'll show you how to create one, of course. But right here, if you want to add borders to your cells, it's gonna be right there. So let's say, for example, I select all my borders and I want my borders to be a little bit more bold. What I can do, I can go here and make them click on the thick outside button. And as you can see here, it became thicker than there. I can select a range of cells and make them thicker as well. So here, for example, and as you can see, here it became a little bit more thicker as well. So those are some little simple things that you can do with Microsoft Excel. So let's select all those cells right here, merge them and unmerge them. So another thing that we are going to talk about, let's say you want to merge your cells together. You'll be able to do that. So you just need to select the cells that you want to merge. Let's say I want to merge all those. We click on merge, and as you can see, they have all merged. And when we unmerge them, it becomes like, well, if like nothing just happened. So that's pretty cool. So this is another thing that you can do if you want to merge cells. You just select the cells that you want to merge. You can merge them, and here it became like one. So it's gonna act like one cell, which is pretty cool. Now, if we want to make our text larger, so once again, let's say we write something. So hello, this is text, and I want to make my text larger. I can just go right here and select the size of my text. So let's say I want to make it 16, sorry. Here we go, it's 16. If I want to make it even larger, instead of clicking here, I can just click on the button right there. So increase font size. And as you can see, it becomes larger, larger, and larger. Here, if I want to make it smaller, I can just go right here. If I want to place my text in a certain spot of the cell, I can just go here. This is up and down, and this is left to right. So if I want to make it in the middle, I can just click there. Up of the cell right here. Same thing, if I want to put it completely to the, well, to one side, I can go here in the middle, and on the other side right here. All right, so this works for merged cells, this works for unmerged cells. And what's cool as well is that I can select a series of cells, and I can put the, well, I can align them in a certain way. So let's say those cells, I want them middle, and those cells right here, I want them completely, well, to one side. So I want to bottom align them, and I want to put them on one side. So I'm gonna go here, I'll write hello there, this is text, and as you can see, it's gonna be middle. And if I would do the same thing right here, hello, this is text, so it's gonna be on the bottom and completely on the right. So if I take it, as you can see, the cell format has changed. So if I zoom on it a little bit, as you can see here, it's gonna be middle, here it's gonna be bottom right. So this is how we can proceed. Now let's continue. Once again, I'm just gonna merge and unmerge. Here we go. So what's cool, as you can see, when I merge, unmerge, everything pretty much disappears. So if you have tables that you wanna delete, you can click on the delete button, or you can merge and unmerge, it works as well. Next thing that we are going to talk about will be this little part right here. So this is called the number format. The way it works, it gives a certain format to your numbers. So for the purpose of this class, for this tutorial, what I'm gonna do is pretty simple. I'm gonna generate random numbers. Once again, you don't necessarily need to do it. You can just write down random numbers. But if you wanna do the same thing as me, you can just click on the equal button. So what I'm doing right now is I'm writing down a Excel function. So we can just write down rand between, and here it's gonna be, let's say, 1 and 20. So what I just did, I will generate a random number between 1 and 20. So each time that I refresh the page, a random number will appear. So what I'm doing right now is I'm writing down an Excel function. So there are dozens of them, but yeah, for the purpose of this tutorial, we're just gonna talk about a few of them. So as you can see, I have random numbers that have been generated. What I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna give them a certain format. So let's say I'm selecting all those numbers, and what I wanna do right now is go here and give them a certain format. So let's say I want them to be a currency. So as you can see, there is a little dollar sign that appears in front of those numbers that are just here. So this is one type of format that I can have. Another type of format, for example, will be fractions. So fractions, once again, it's not gonna work, but how to make it work, it's pretty simple. Well, for the purpose of this example, it's probably not gonna work. But let's say I'm making, I don't know, I'm writing down 9 divided by 7. So as you can see here, it's a date format. We'll put it into a fraction format. We'll write it down again. So 9 divided by 7. And as you can see, it became 1 and 2/7 right here. Since it's a fraction, because if you divide 9 by 7, what's going to happen is 7 divided by 7 will give us 1. And then we'll have 2 divided by 7. That will be the fraction that will be left over. So that makes sense. It's 1 and 2/7. And here you will have the exact number that is calculated, right? So that's another thing that you can do if you want to work with fractions on Microsoft Excel, which is pretty cool as well. So you have various types of numbers that exist. You have short dates, you have long dates, you have time, you have percentages. So let's say, for example, we want this in a percentage format. We can have it as well. So it's going to be 128%, since 9 divided by 7 is more than 100%. So this is just number formats that we can work with on Microsoft Excel. Now let's continue. If we go inside of the insert tab right here, we are going to have tables, which is pretty cool as well. So let's add a little bit more things to our little database that we have. So we'll have the price here, and we are going to have, let's say, a few products. So just gonna make this thing a little bit bigger. So we're gonna have Apple. And so here we're gonna have Apple as well. Of course, those prices don't necessarily make sense. So we'll have banana. We'll have grape. We'll have grape again. We'll have cherry, banana, apple. I don't know, pineapple. Let's say melon. I don't know, apple again, banana again, and let's say grape again. Great. So here we have our fruits. Here we go. All right, we have our fruits right here. We have our price right there. Let's say we go here, and now we want to have a table with all those, with this little database. So we'll go back inside of insert. We'll select all those elements, and we are going to add a table. And as you can see, we have a table with fruits and prices that has just appeared. Now what I can do with a table is pretty cool. I can really select all the apples together. So let's say, for example, I don't want to see the bananas and the cherries and the grapes and the melons. I can just do it like this, and here I will have only the apples. So I can do the same thing with bananas only. And here we go, we only have bananas that will appear with their prices. You can also do the same thing with the price. So you can, for example, go inside of price and select a certain price, and you will be able to see it. The only issue in our example is that right now inside of here we have a function. So it will not necessarily work, because when you have a when you have a random numbers function, what's going to happen is that each time the number will change, so it won't work in this case. But if you put fixed numbers, so let's say, for example, here you just put 14, 15, 10, in this case it's going to work. So you'll be able to select all the products that cost $10, for example. So let's go back to our example. We're going to select everything, and let's continue. Now the next thing that you can also do, you can add pictures. So I have a video about how to add pictures, add shapes, add icons, but for the purpose of this class, let's add a picture. So you can select a picture from the device, from mobile device. You can select a picture from stock images. You can go for an online picture. So let's just try it out for the purpose of this tutorial. So if I want to have a online picture, I can just click here. Here I have a picture. Oh, apples, that's pretty cool. So I'm going to select a picture of an apple. I'm just going to click on insert. And here I have a small apple that has just appeared. So I can put my picture inside of a cell. I can also add my picture not necessarily inside of a cell. So here we go. I have my little apple right there. And here is my picture of an apple, for example. So now I can make it a little bit smaller. I can modify it with what's appearing right here. So I can add not a background, but something around the picture as well. All right, so let's delete our picture. We don't necessarily need it right now. So it's the same thing for shapes. So here you have various different shapes that you can add. You can add icons as well. Once again, we're not gonna download an icon from the web, but here you'll be able to find dozens of icons that exist. So we can select one and add it if needed. The next thing that we are going to talk about will be charts. So once again, charts are a little bit, not a more advanced topic. You have more advanced charts, like for example, those ones right here. You have maps, you have pivot charts, you have more financial charts. We're not gonna talk about it since it's a small tutorial, but we're gonna talk about some basic charts right here. So I'm just gonna delete this cell. So let's say I'm selecting the little database that we have created and I wanna put it in a chart format. So I'm gonna go inside of recommended chart, click on it, and as you can see here, I will have various charts that will appear. So once again, let's say I want a sum of prices by fruits. I'll be able to have this chart right here. If I just want the price per fruit, I can do it as well. So let's say I'm selecting this one. And as you can see here, I have a price for each of my fruits. So I have apple 1, apple 2, banana, grape, cherry, banana, and the prices that are associated with it. Once again, here what's pretty cool is that I'm using random numbers. So each time that I will refresh my page, as you can see, the chart will change, which is pretty cool. And as you can see, there is a lot of interesting things that you can do with it, especially if you are working with more financial charts. Once again, it's a little bit more advanced, but there is a lot of pretty cool use cases to it that I personally use it for. Well, I'm using it a lot for financial use cases, but you can use it for pretty much whatever use case you want. And it's pretty cool because you're able to visualize what you are doing. So each time that I refresh the page, as you can see, my chart, the numbers on my chart will change. So I'm just gonna delete the chart. Next thing that we are going to talk about, once again, real quick, conditional formatting. It's a little bit, not that it's complicated, but we're gonna talk about the basics of conditional formatting, but we're not gonna create new rules. What's pretty cool with conditional formatting is that you will be able to format your cells. So let's say you wanna have a cell, all the cells that are greater than 5, they will be a certain color. All the cells that are smaller than, 10 will be a certain color. All the cells that are between 5 and 10 will be a certain color, for example. So you'll be able to do it right here. So highlight, so here are all the rules. So a number that is great, if you want your cell to be a certain color, when the number is greater than another, it's gonna be here. Less, it's gonna be here. Between two numbers here, equal to right there. So you can even do it with text and date as well, which is pretty nice. So let's now talk about the color scales. Here, for example, we have our prices. So let's take them. We're gonna copy them and paste them right here. And there, let's say that we want to condition format those cells. So we're gonna go inside of color scale and select one of those. So as you can see here, what's happening is that the more the number is low, the more the cell will be going to the red. And the more a number is high, the more the cell will be green. So if each time that we refresh the page, as you can see, it's gonna change a little bit. Once again, it's all random numbers, but you'll be able to see what's happening. So if I come back here and instead of this instead of this color scale, I can use any other color scale as well. So there is a lot of them. If I wanna add a rule, for example, I can go here and select greater than. So let's say all the numbers that are greater than 10 will be, I'm just gonna go here, write down 10. So all the numbers that are greater than 10 will be filled with light red. So as you can see, all the numbers that are greater than 10, so we have 11, 18, 16, will be filled with light red. So if I refresh the page, same thing. So 12, 17, 19, they become filled with light red, right? So this is another pretty cool thing that we can do with conditional formatting. Once again, it's a little bit more advanced than this, and you can do way more things, but since it's a basic tutorial, you can try it out. You can try out those basic things on your own and check out my more complex videos about the topic, or check out my courses as well. All right, let's continue. So now we talked about the insert tab right here. Once again, you have a little bit more advanced things as well. Let's go inside of page layout. So here, another important thing, I'm just gonna delete this column since we won't require it anymore. I think the tutorial will be a little bit more than 20 minutes, but no worries, let's continue as well. All right, so next thing that we are going to talk about will be page orientation. So your page, once you want to print it, you can go right here and you can select either portrait, either landscape. So if I, for example, select landscape, if you look right here, you'll see small little lines. So this is what's gonna appear when you're going to print your page. So when you're gonna print the page, this is what your page will look like. So if you go inside of orientation, inside of portrait, this is what's gonna appear. So your first page, you will only have this table right here. So if you wanna check it out, we can just go once again inside of file, go into print, and here you'll be able to see that our printing page will look like this page right there, all right? So this is why it's pretty important. So as you can see, those are little lines that will delimit our page. So this is another thing that is important to know. Also, if you're using other types of papers, so you don't use a normal type of paper, it's gonna be right here. You have pretty much all the types of paper that you can use. And you can add, select the size of the paper that you want to print your document on. Now let's continue and go inside of formulas. Another important thing that is, not one important, like the most important thing in Microsoft Excel, it's formulas. Once again, formulas allow you to do many things on Microsoft Excel. As you can see here, you have various formulas that exist. You have financial, you have logical, you have text formulas, data and dates. My understanding is that you guys are, for example, right now are beginners in Microsoft Excel. So we're just gonna try out some basic formulas that will calculate the sum, the average, the max, as well as the min, just so that you can see what exactly is my Microsoft Excel formula. But of course, you have way more advanced formulas that exist. So if, for example, you are doing more maths, here you have pretty much all the math formulas that you can use. And there is a lot of references that talk about those types of formulas. I have a little bit more advanced videos about the various formulas as well, if you want to check them out and have more information about the formula topics. Once again, I won't be able to present them all. So let's talk about the four formulas that we wanted to talk about. So we have the sum, we have the average, we have max, and we have min. So those are four really simple formulas. Rand between that generates a random number is also a simple Microsoft Excel formula. But for the purpose of this video, we're gonna talk about only those four. Rand between is, let's say, an extra one. So let's start with the sum. So right here, we are going to calculate the sum of all those numbers. So to do that, it's pretty simple. When you're writing down an Excel formula, you want to start with the equal sign right here. And then you will write down the Excel formula that you want to call. So in this case, we want to calculate the sum. Here, we want to calculate the sum of all those numbers. So we'll select all those numbers right here. And we're gonna close our parentheses. And when we click on enter, we are going to have the sum that will be generated. Each time that we are going to refresh the page, what's cool is that this sum will change since we're working with random numbers. Now, if we do the same thing with average, you can pause the video and try it out on your own. So it's done, let's do it. So I'm gonna click on the equal and then write down average. Here we go. And little mistake on my part, average, and I'm gonna open up the parentheses. I'm gonna do the same thing in this case, so we'll calculate the average of all those numbers, select them all, close my parentheses, click on equal, and as you can see here, the average is 11.08. Once again, I want to have it in a dollar format, so we'll click right here, and this is my average, so $11.08. Let's say I want to know what is the maximum number right here. Not the maximum, but the highest number there. So once again, I'm going to do the same thing, equal, max, and select all the numbers that are there. And then close my parentheses, run this, and I know that my highest number here is 20. So is it true? We have 20 here, it's true. I'm gonna test it again. It's 20 again, we have here 20. Test it again. Now it became 18, so it's $18 that is here. It's my highest number. So I'm gonna do the same thing with the minimum, so the lowest number. So I'm gonna do equal, write down min, and select all my numbers once again, and click on run. And as you can see, my lowest number in this case will be 1. Also, I wanna put them in a $sign format. So let's continue. So now what we have seen all the formulas. We talked about conditional formatting. Next thing, we are going to go in data. Here, I'm not gonna go too much in depth, but what's cool is that you can import data from various sources on Microsoft Excel. The way it's gonna work is pretty simple. You wanna go here, click on get data, and here you can pretty much select from where you want to get data. You can get it from other Excel spreadsheets, you can get it from Excel databases, I can get it directly from Azure, so you can get it from, well, as I said, Access a little bit earlier. So you decide from where you want to get data. Also for this part, I have a video where I'm doing a stock portfolio. You can check it out as well. If you want to learn a little bit more about how you can use stock data in order to create a stock portfolio, for example, and import stock data. So it's going to be right here, of course. So this is pretty much the part for data. Once again, I'm not going to get too much into this element. It's a little bit more advanced. So since it's just for basics, we're just going to talk about this part right here. The next important things that we are going to talk about will be the translate part right there. So how can we translate our workbook? It's pretty simple. It's simply by clicking this on this button. So let's say we have this cell right here, and I'm gonna write down, hello, I like to eat apples. And I don't know what that means in French, and let's say I wanna translate it. I'm just gonna click on the translate button right there. And what's gonna happen is that the translator will appear, and it's gonna translate it directly. So, hello, I like to eat apples. Bonjour, j'aime manger des pommes. So the translation works. What's cool as well is that you can change the language of translation directly on your document. So let's say you don't want to translate it in French, you want to translate it, I don't know, in Italian. So I don't know how to read it in Italian, but as you can see here, you'll be able to translate it in pretty much any language that you want, which is pretty cool as well. So those are pretty much the most important things on Microsoft Excel. Of course, you have more advanced things right here. If you want to automate your workbook and create macros, you can do it as well here. We're not going to talk about it in this tutorial. It's a little bit more advanced, but for all macro recordings, it's going to be right there. Same thing for the developers tab. If you want to work with VBA, it's going to be right here on the developers tab. If you want to, well, once again, record your macros again. If you want to code your macros, so write down code for your macros, we can check out what it looks like. So it looks like, it's a page that looks pretty much like this, but it's really to code in VBA. So we're not going to talk about this part we're just not going to talk about it. For the purpose of this tutorial, of course. So this is pretty much the basics of Microsoft Excel. So as you can see, this is right now you have all the tools to start using this application. Once again, it's the basic of the basic. You'll become good and better the more you are working with. So it's normal that in the beginning it's a little bit hard. Me, of course, I'm using it on a daily basis. I program in VBA. Yeah, so personally, what I can suggest you is just try it out, play with it, play with all the tools that we have seen. Go inside of the formula tab right here, try out the different different Excel functions, and you'll see it's not gonna be that complicated. For my part, I find it really a nice app to use. So that's it for this tutorial. If you liked it and you wanna see some other tutorials, don't forget to like this video, to subscribe, and see you in another of my videos.